Hi, guys. Thanks for coming on to the Nocturnal Feeding with James, Fishroom Fever. I'm on the wrong side. And me, Chattanooga Ed. And we're kind of just following the Fishroom Fever over. And we're going to talk about some cool stuff. Before I get into that, though, James, can you say hi to people while I bring up the chat?
Absolutely. Hi to people. Now, all right. So we're going to try this again from the participants list. See how this goes. It's a little bit easier than following the chat. Hello and welcome to.
Oops. Now I don't hear you. Am I still there? Oh, no. Hang on. I'm not on the channel. It looks like James.
Oh. Don't push buttons.
Doggone it. I was like trying to get to YouTube to see, and then I was like not on this screen, so I was like, did I just cut myself? And then I was like, should I start talking, even though I have no idea what to talk about?
I don't know, because I can't even see the chat because I'm on participants. MNC Aquatics, Mary Beth McCubbins, Mike Aquatics, Things, Mississippi Hippie, Mr. Fish, Sir Medul, Saying, Patrick Hardy, Paul Sotero, R&B, Animals Rescue, S, Skull Aquatics, T-Bo's Fishy Friends, Tampa, Tom Fishing, Texas Fish Room, The Zen Ginger, Whips World, Xana Doo, and Big Tank Hank.
Big
and everybody else that's in here that is not on the participants list. Appreciate you all being here.
Big Tank Hank got known, or I don't, how do you say that? Somebody recognized him as Big Tank Hank at a fish store. That's always the coolest thing in the world. That happened really.
Awesome. It is. I've had that happen before. You know, people are, hey, I've got your which this phone doesn't have. A sticker on the back of the phone. You're Fishroom Fever. I'm like, yes, I am. Awesome to meet you. Before we get too far, hopefully you can still hear me.
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. Before we get too far, Rigo Stan did throw a $5 super chat. Says going back to sleep, so I'll catch the replay. Have fun.
Awesome.
Sweet
we do
dreams.
have Bob asked, Ed, no topic. I do have a topic, but first I want to go through a list of events because we haven't done this in a long time. We used to do this all the time, and then everything started getting canceled.
Yep.
And then I tried to redo it because everything like rescheduled, and then it all got canceled again. But we're actually, I think, doing stuff now. We had our swap, and we'll talk about our swap here in a minute too. This weekend here in Chattanooga, we've been doing a swap in Cincinnati. So I think things are starting to become back to normal, which is awesome. Oh my gosh, these glasses. My normal readers I broke, so I'm using my painting glasses, which are like super magnified. But let's get going. This May 16th, May 14th, or May 15th and 16th, Reefapalooza is happening in Orlando. That's this weekend. Can you believe it?
Ooh.
Yeah. So James and I will not be there. Reefapalooza is the biggest saltwater convention going. I'm just going to go talk about Reefapalooza for a second because they have 4 events. I think they kind of rotate because last year they were in Denver because I remember Priscilla went to it. So it must rotate somewhat. But it's going to be in Orlando this weekend. June 26th, it's going to be in New York. I'm figuring New York City area. I didn't write it down. I should have. I just wrote New York. August 21st and 22nd will be in Anaheim. I did write the city down that time. So, you guys, there's not much going on in California or on the West Coast. It's crazy. I probably wrote down 15 to 18 different events that have been officially happening this year. I think that might be the only thing on the West Coast is Reefapalooza, June 26th. Oh, no, August 21st and 22nd. New Yorkers get to go on the 26th. And it's just one day on there for them. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they could only get the venue one day. And then it'll be in October 16th and the 17th. I don't know. We may not even have any saltwater people here, but still, it's fish related, so I'm going to mention it.
There you go. Absolutely.
Okay, in the May 15th and the 16th, the Greater Ciclet Association is going to have a special thing, an online, I guess, seminar with Scott DePalma. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure he's somebody probably
You
really
don't know
awesome.
who that is?
Do you know who Scott DePalma is?
Yeah, it's a guy named Scott whose last name is DePalma.
Yeah, he's
No.
probably like a master veterinarian of fish or something.
It's somebody we should probably know and don't, unfortunately.
Maybe he actually harvests cichlids from Africa or something. Who knows? Well, probably somebody out here knows him. But okay, that's the only one that made like a special online appearance. We have on May 23rd, through the 26th, the IAAAM in Tampa. It's their 51st conference. I don't know much about this. You can also, they have a deal where you can watch it online. I'm thinking it might be saltwater, but I couldn't even find what the breakdown was for it. So I don't know if any of you guys know what the IAAAM is. Maybe Tampa Tom. But, and Tampa Tom just said thank you about Reefapalooza. You're welcome. Okay, well, maybe if you guys go there, you'll be able to meet Tampa Tom. That'd be really cool. Okay, and I'm checking to see. I tried to put these in order, but sometimes I'd find something and it wasn't out of order or got mixed up. On June 11th and 13th, the American Achilles Association convention will be held in St. Louis, and they have like a super killy club, and I think they have the convention a lot. I don't know if it's just because the club's so big or what the deal is. But James and I will not be going to that because James and I will be going on the 12th and 13th of June to Aquashella. So I guess it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the killifish, and it's just Saturday and Sunday for Aquashella in Orlando, which we're hoping to meet everybody. We're going to bring a bunch of stickers and have a blast. Sean Peck's going to be coming down with us. I know Frelo is going to be there. There's just going to be a whole mess of fun people to meet and hang out with there. And then let's see other June events. Oh, the IBC. Now this is really interesting. James, are you still here? I don't know if James can even hear me. Well, Bob, you might find this interesting too. The IBC is the International Betta Club. It's going to be held in Atlanta from the 24th to the 27th. And I thought maybe we should go down there for a one-day trip to check it out because that'd be pretty cool. And, but, I mean, anything that's close, we'll write down. But if you guys know of anything that's from, anywhere around you guys, I will write it down and then promote it. Any swaps, I love fish swaps, so I'll promote those too. I wasn't able to find any fish swaps this week, which is kind of unusual. Maybe everybody had them before it got hot. Okay, that was in June. Aquashella's in June. In July, let's see, July 23rd through the 25th is the ACA in St. Louis. St. Louis is like a hub for fish shows this year. It figures since I moved out of St. Louis. But the ACA is the association, or no, the American Cichlid Association. I'm pretty sure. It's going to be huge. King and Queens of Cichlids, Scott and Liz is going to be there. Kenny E's going to be there. Science Girl's going to be there. So there's going to be a whole bunch of people there. And that's just, a few people. I'm sure there will be a lot more. I'm going to do my best to be there. I don't know how long I'll be there because I'll be staying at my brother's and, sometimes that'll be tight quarters. So we'll see about that. And the Deep South Guppy Show will be in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And the Tennessee Fish Mafia is going to make an appearance. So anybody in Tennessee or in the whole, this is basically, it's an IFGA show where people submit guppies from all across the United States and they get judged. And half of the states were canceled. So there's only about 4 states that are actually doing shows this year. So I imagine the Deep South one is going to probably be packed because they're going to need to send their guppies there to score points. Whoops. So, like guys like Doug Gray, he's got he ships his guppies all over the place to be judged. I'm sure his will be there. There will be a lot of awesome guppies to go check out. And then the Deep South, we'll all be there having fun. There's a barbecue place across the street. I'm pretty sure John Cox is going to be there and Bob Kaler. I'm sure Sean Peck will probably be there. He's like wanting to go to all sorts of things. We'll get Bobby. So I'm sure we'll have a whole bunch. And then that's like right in Tiffany White and Ginger Graves' neighborhood. So, and maybe we'll get John from Select Pet. We'll try to get as many people down there to have a good time at the Deep South Guppy Show, July 30th and August 1st. Okay, July is done. Now I'm going into September. And this is another thing close to us. We're getting super lucky this year. Is in Atlanta on September 3rd and 5th is Mecca, M-A-C-N-A. And James knows more about this place, but it's a big saltwater convention. I was going to try to get Bob to go to this one too with us because I think we can do this in one day, go down there, check it out, and come back. And it travels all over the United States. Next year, it'll be in Milwaukee. So this might be our one opportunity to go to that thing. I missed Aquashella Chicago, 14th and the 15th. And now to the next page. Okay, St. Louis is going to be having the Gateway Guppy Show, September 11th and 14th. That's IFGA for the Midwest. And then October 22nd and 24th will be the official IFGA convention in Chicago, where they're going to announce the big winners, who wins everything. Are you going to the ACA convention? Danny, yes, I am going to go. I just don't know how long I'll be there, if I'll be there for the full 3 or 4 days. The Keystone Clash is something that James and I have both talked about going to. It's the 24th and the 25th. It's in, I think there's actually a city called Keystone, Pennsylvania, I'm guessing. There's a bunch of cichlid clubs that get together and make this giant cichlid show. And James and I, neither one of us are huge cichlid guys, but we went to the Big Fish deal a couple years ago and just had a complete blast. Because part of the fun is just hanging out with fish people. So I'm pretty sure that James and I will be going to the Keystone Clash. Now here's one. Oh, nuts. I forgot to write down where it is, but I'm pretty sure it's in Milwaukee. This is one I'm thinking about going to, which is kind of weird. October 8th and 10th. Catfish Cataclysm. I believe it's in Milwaukee. And I just thought it sounded fun. I know Sean Peck went to it when it was in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago. So I thought probably do that. Or I'm going to look at doing that. Milwaukee's a really fun town, and I like going through the Midwest, but I'm really far away now, so we'll see. And then October 30th, 31st, Aquashella, Dallas. So I think that's there. Oh, I also wrote down. So I don't think James and I are going to go to more than one Aquashella. So I don't think we'll be at the Dallas one, but I know that a lot of fun people are going to go to that one. The ALA, the America Live Bearer. I wonder if it's supposed to be a B in there. Well, it rescheduled for Florida sometime in October. They don't know where in October. Where in February or when in October. But the Live Bearers Association convention, I think, would be kind of cool to see. That's like all the Live Bears, not just the Guppy show, but they've got a lot of mollies, a lot of swordtails, half-beaks, everything is going to be there. So that was kind of the breakdown for the events. Were you able to hear any of that, James?
Yeah, most of it. I was having fun. I was going to bring the other camera up here and realized this phone was dead, so I had to run and go get the other phone and try and get that set up. But most of it I heard, except for when I had to run out of the room.
Awesome. So if anybody has any new events, they can contact me. They can either just leave a message at the end of the stream, like it, in comments, or they can message me on Facebook Messenger, and I will add that to their clubs, which is kind of cool because I really enjoy doing that. I like being able to know what's going on. I feel bad, though, that there wasn't more New England. Well, I think there will be a lot more New England probably in a year from now, and probably a lot more West Coast. Those are the two areas that I think are coming back to life slowest. And maybe that's why most things are in the South and the Midwest. I'm guessing. But
maybe.
Yeah. Well, we had a great time at our swap this week. We had the Chattanooga swap at Aquatic Aesthetics. And, oh, man, I think they were saying they thought about 200 to 250 people showed up to buy things. I got rid of all my guppies that I brought. I'm sure James, if he would have sold something, he would have sold it out.
Yeah.
Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics said he had a great day still, just with people walking into his shop and buying stuff. And, that's always the concern is I hope my fish store will be, doing good. So that was awesome. And it was just a wonderful time all the way around. We had a blast hanging out with all of our friends and had a good time. And then James won the whole grand prize. I haven't seen any.
I did.
I need to see that live stream. I couldn't believe it. When they said he won, I'm thinking, well, I still got 20 tickets. And they were like, no, he won it all. So
And I didn't know what was going on because I was doing a live stream when it happened. So I'm like, oh, I get to pick one of these things. They're like, no, this is the grand prize. You get all of it. I'm like, oh, awesome. Thank you. And then I found out afterwards, what had happened. Hashtag rigged. No. Rob even showed the ticket. Besides, he would have rigged it for Chattanooga Ed if it was going to be rigged,
Yeah, or Bob, or one
Bob.
of his
one of the local guys there. But yeah, and Aquatic Aesthetics did have a $5 super chat earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were doing the events, but said he was paying his monthly dues there. So thank you, Rob, Aquatic Aesthetics.
Thank you, Rob.
For anybody that didn't see it, we did a live stream from Aquatic Aesthetics for our new series. And that was really awesome. I encourage you all to go check that out. I think it's got about 400 or 500 views, so it's doing about channel standard, so to speak. That is on the Fish Room Fever channel. But I'd love for more of you all to watch that, not just because it's on my channel, but because I want you all to see more of Aquatic Aesthetics and get to know Rob a little bit more. Go check out his YouTube channel because he does awesome stuff.
Yeah, and we're trying to change up our Saturday format because our Saturday was basically just like our Thursday, except we basically just answered questions. And so we're trying to think, how can we try to grow the channel? And
we're not doing a podcast. I mean, that had been something that we're so close to podcast format anyways, that because that's kind of the thing right now is everybody doing a podcast. So that was something that's like, well, maybe we do a podcast now. Not with everybody else doing one right now. Then we really look like the little guy jumping on the bandwagon, which is whatever. But this is our new thing to bring to the fish tube, if you will. So I hope you all enjoy it. But sorry, go ahead.
No, and seriously, I listen to everything like a podcast. When I drive, I don't look at what everybody looks like. I'm not going to look at me for a couple hours here or an hour. But Jess Shrimp Granny's here. I I haven't had a chance to read anything yet. But I think our show is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do it twice a month. We're going to go to Rob's shop once a month, and that's in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Aquatic Aesthetics. But then the other time, we're going to wait 2 weeks. Next week, we're going to have actually this week, we have our saltwater show with Mike.
Yep.
And then the next week, we're going to be going, and I'll be driving up to Knoxville, and we're going to hang out at the Aquatic Marine and hang out with Kenny for an hour. That's James's fish owner, or fish store owner. And,
LFS odor. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, this is a little dirty because I've been using it, but.
Oh, I do have one of those. I definitely have one of those. I was thinking I don't have anything other than, I have a nice T-shirt that from him. But just to put somewhere around. But yeah, he's a great guy. I think you guys will really enjoy it. This week, or last week, we had lots of bugs. It was our first time, and we had a wonderful discussion for a half hour before we went live. But we thought we were live. So
and I'll take responsibility for that. Initially, I had planned to be sitting over near the computer and all that stuff, and it didn't work out that way. So I ended up way on the side. So I couldn't really see the monitor too well. So I was just kind of like, okay, I clicked the button and assumed that it had gone live. And then we did our thing and we went live. And then I'm kind of watching the chat on my phone, and I'm like, it wasn't the normal chat. You all weren't interacting. You weren't asking questions. You weren't pointing things out that we'd mentioned. And then I'm like, oh, we're not live. People have been sitting here for 30 minutes waiting for us to go live, and we've just been having this awesome conversation with ourselves.
Had a blast.
Yeah.
But we learned we need to bring a tripod.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys got a nice worm's view. Or not worm, bird-eye view on us. Worm would be down from the bottom looking up at us. We want to be more straight on next time. I haven't checked to see if the sound was good, but it's terrible. I've been so busy this week, I haven't had a chance to just sit down and watch all the different things that happened lately. But
I do want to mention before we get too far from it and chat moves far away, Hillbilly Aquatic says swap meet Lexington, Kentucky, May 15th.
Ooh, okay, let me write that down. And you know what? There's something cool I should have mentioned. It's rumored, so it's not legitimate like in the books, but I heard that they're going to try to do an ACA, American Associate, the ACA, and an ALA in Lexington at the same time.
Oh, wow.
They were going to kind of merge the convention. I heard it was a rumor that they were talking about doing it in Lexington.
Nice.
Yes. So, okay. Let me just write that down as notes. That was May, what? 15?
15.
Oh, that's this weekend.
Yep.
May 15, Lexington. Well, actually, this will be the only time we get to advertise it.
Yeah.
So if you know what time it is, let us know, and we will promote it now because we won't be back on until next Thursday. We'll be on with the saltwater, but we're going to get right into saltwater. So,
yep.
But yeah, that's awesome. Whenever you guys know about a swap, let us know because we will talk about it for sure.
Definitely. And I encourage anybody that's, within a couple hours drive, go to these things, enjoy the conversations, enjoy seeing the cool stuff, enjoy the community. Maybe win some prizes, normally, maybe win all the prizes, right? I have horrible luck at winning those things. That being said, I always like to put at least $5 in just because I like to, I'm going to contribute this to the club. I'm just going to throw $5 in there. That's my contribution to the club for them putting this on. So I just look at it in that sense, and then you're never a loser because you're helping out a local club. The fact that happened was absolutely amazing. That grand prize was insane. Going forward, they'll be doing multiple drawings, which had I known at the time, I would have encouraged them to do. but I didn't. So it is what it is. Moving on from that, had a $25 gift certificate for Aquatic Aesthetics, which I used that day on some awesome corals for the salty tank. You all, the members, have seen the little post on there. But actually, you saw that before I went. So I need to do an update. So tomorrow, I'm going to do another little members-only video. I'll update you on the saltwater tank, and we'll do a little walk around. I know I did that brief showing while Ed was talking of what's going on back here, and I appreciate all the positive comments on that. I've been really trying to put in the work on these things. But tomorrow, Fish Room Fever members, you'll get a members-only video, and we'll do a little walk-around tour. We're not really ready for a public fish room tour yet because we've still got some tanks to get set up. But we'll do that for the members.
Yep, that'll be awesome.
Hillbilly Aquatic says 5 p.m.
Oh, 5 p.m. Wow.
That's an easy one to get to.
Yeah. The problem is, Shy asked if I'd be going to it. I won't be because we've got our saltwater talk with Mike.
Yep.
And I have to be at the house for that. So if we maybe scheduled it a little bit more in advance, we could try to reschedule Mike, or maybe Mike will have to reschedule with us because he goes to a lot of events also.
Absolutely.
And and maybe if we have a lot of fun, what's it called? It's not called closing time, after hours.
After hours.
If after hours, and I even made this great video. I spent hours.
He did.
Making this stupid video. Well, not stupid. Good video for the show, and we didn't even get to see it because we weren't live. That's funny. But if it's successful and people enjoy it, maybe we'll do one from Southern Aquatic someday and talk to the Axolotl lady.
Absolutely.
Or maybe if we go to the Keystone Clash, maybe we do one there. The problem with doing it on a Sunday or Saturday is there's a lot of events going on a lot of the. But maybe we do it in, who knows? Maybe there's some fish show or something. We'll have time to do it. It'll be fun.
So MNC Aquatic says, any idea on how to start a fish club? There's none in my immediate area.
Okay. Well, when I first came to Chattanooga, I wanted to have a fish club. And the first thing I did was I changed my name on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube to Chattanooga Ed, so everybody in my area knew who I was, and that's how I met Bob and ended up meeting all these other Tennessee Mafia people. And my goal was to do a club, and then I ended up getting into YouTube, and that became more my club.
Yeah.
But since then, Chattanooga has started a club. I interviewed Scott from Kings and Queens on Multi-Tank Addictions channel once, and I asked him a lot of those questions. I bet you if you would go on Scott, well, Scott's not doing a lot of lives, but if you can somehow get a hold of Scott, he would probably help you because he has set them up and he knows a lot about it. So he's a great help, super great guy.
Absolutely. And then we've got a couple other people in here commenting on, or Rob amongst them, on some great ideas for that as well.
Okay, cool.
I'm just checking for this real quick. Mary Beth McKevin says Aquaticon Fish and Tech Expo, July 31st or August 1st, Cave City, Kentucky.
Ooh, Aquaticon. That sounds like something that I would think is cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. We actually trademarked the name for our Knoxville.
That's harsh. That was harsh.
Yeah, that's why I was checking on it. But yeah, no, that's awesome. That's July 31st, August 1st, Cave City, Kentucky. Yeah, interesting. That's what made me look twice. I saw Aquaticon. I thought maybe somebody else had popped in here because that's the big event that we're working on for here in Knoxville, Tennessee, is Aquaticon. That got really, really screwed up last year with COVID and the pandemic and everything.
Cave City. Where is Cave City near?
Kentucky.
Well, it's in Kentucky.
Hi, Chappie. Bye, Chappie.
Hasta la vista, Chappie. Okay. Huh, that's really bizarre.
Thank
Okay.
you. Berdul posted King and Queen Cichlids video how to start an aquarium club. I
Ah,
would say go watch that.
yeah. He's done it, and his club is gigantic. Super great guy. And I'm sure if you somehow get in contact with him, he will totally help you too. Okay, so something got me going on, well, just last night on something. I was watching Dan from Get Gills, and he said that PVC is going to be skyrocketing starting Monday. Oh, thank you so much, Jess. Uh, that would be so much fun. If anybody be interested in playing Fish Fam D&D, that would be super fun. And yeah, we'll run it online and everything. That'd be really awesome. Thank you, Jess. And I guarantee I'll play with her too. Okay. Awesome. Well, so Dan said briefly that PVC is going to be skyrocketing on the 15th of this month. So I said it's time for me to plumb my tanks and get my PVC going. So I was going to talk about this, but now I'm not. And so I wanted to talk about sumps tonight because I wanted to pick James's brain. We're also in the middle of a major gas problem.
Yeah, actually, I'm draining all my tanks to fill them with gasoline. Sorry, guys. I'm just kidding.
No, seriously, you couldn't even find the gas that goes in your car. Well, James puts super high octane in his car.
Yeah, my car is
all sold out.
Heavily modified. I only have one place I can even get it anyways in town, and that's in Knoxville. This is not a little one light town. This is a decent sized city. And so, yeah, good thing I had no plans to go anywhere, right?
Well, it's selling out in my town. Like, there's actually gas stations that have turned off their lights. That's bizarre. Bob was saying he saw somebody filling plastic bags up with gas.
Yep, I've seen those posts. Plastic bags. They've been using the plastic storage totes. Anything of airplane fuel. Yeah, I mean, so I use 93 octane, 0 ethanol because I've got my engine highly tuned specifically. We won't get too far into that, but somebody was mentioning it. So yeah, I can't just get gas anywhere. Otherwise, I have to completely reprogram my car. I have the little computer that I take with me to do it, but it's like a 30-minute process of reprogramming everything. So it's not fun. So I just won't drive anywhere right now.
Oh, you know what? Before I get too far, Jess did do the super chat for D&D. If you guys are interested, contact me on Facebook, and then I can get a hold of Jess that way, or contact Jess somehow, and we'll get it done. And it'd be awesome if Rico would play too. Okay, so gas is running out, so I'm not going to drive to Knoxville anytime soon. I filled my tank up yesterday. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I filled my tank up today just to top it off, and I found out it takes exactly 8 gallons of gas to get from James's house to my house and the gas station. Because I gassed up here when I left, or we came and dropped off the table for the swap. Then I drove all the way there, and when I came back today, it was exactly 8 gallons. Bizarre. Thank you so much, Mike, for the $5. I really appreciate that. But so I need to do this sump, and I wanted to pick James's brain, and I thought maybe I'll pick everybody's brain.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. What I've got is I've got a lot of 1/4-inch PVC. Now, what it looks like most people are using is thicker. What size PVC do you recommend?
I run 1 inch for just about everything. Without getting into specifics, because you have to remember, it's not really going to be quote unquote pressurized to standard, if you will, like your house plumbing would be. But I run 1 inch. It's really simple to work with. It gives you more than ample draining ability, especially if you're doing something gravity fed, meaning you're pumping it up to this tank. as it fills, it's going to hit the overflow and drain down it. So it's not pressurized, it's gravity fed. So for my drain, I use 1 inch. Now the return line, I usually don't hard plumb that. I have done that. I've got one that's done in 1/4 inch. I've got one that's done in 3/4 inch, but I really prefer to use the vinyl tubing for my return line as opposed to using PVC for my return line.
Okay, I wanted to show you what I got because I was thinking the same thing. I thought that the return line might be quieter if I used the 1/4 inch, and I've got lots of this. This is 3/4 inch pipe.
So my big question is, will that fit on your return pump? Because you have the pump, right?
Yes. And also,
and Hillbilly Aquatics did post the address for that meetup if anybody's interested in doing that. Says they'll also have one in October, but don't have a date yet. So awesome. October, we might be able to hit that one.
Yeah. Now, I've got tons of this stuff, this blue PVC.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everything is in 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Or 3/4 inch. So I'm going to put that there. Nico's just freaking out. He was asleep on I have a t-shirt on the floor. This is the stuff that comes with the pump. I'm going to rip it open. Remember that, yeah. It looks like it has it. Well, I don't know.
Before we get too far, did you see Mike's Aquatics and Things? The $5 super sticker.
Yes, with the muscles.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Sorry, I was dealing with a technical issue, so I missed that. My apologies.
Okay, so I don't think I don't know what this is.
That one you're not going to want to mess with. So that's got an air intake on it, so you could run like a Venturi setup. That runs a lot with protein skimmers, but that we'll just bypass that one. Because what it's going to try and do is pump water straight out of that thing. A lot of times you'll see them on an intake setup where they're sucking water through.
Okay, well, I also do have 1 inch hose also. It's just in the other room, so I can't.
And what's the gallons per hour on your pump? Now, I know that's not going to factor in head height, but still.
The gallons per hour is 1,056.
All right. Does it have a chart on there that says the GPH different head heights? Or okay, it does. Good deal. So we can kind of factor in. I don't know exactly how high up you're going, but you can look at that and go, the actual is this many gallons at 3 feet tall or 4 feet tall or how you're going with it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so it's, let's say 10 foot. I have no idea. I'm just going to guess. No, my ceilings are like 9 foot.
Yeah, you're probably, we'll say 4 foot. Yeah, I doubt you're going 4 foot, but let's just say 4 foot. That's a decent.
Okay.
Height.
So that's, says 200 GPH.
At 4 foot head height. Okay. That is also, and this is where we're going to get into some weird stuff. That's not factoring in any elbows. As you add in elbows to your plumbing, you lose gallons per hour. That factors into your head height as well. Head height meaning this is the top of your pump. And this also plays in with canister filters. A lot of people don't take that into consideration. They look and they go, oh, well, that's, Fluval's canister does this many gallons per hour and Aqueon's does this many. So.
See, I've got a lot of this 1/4 inch stuff, or 3/4, because.
Yeah, 3/4 would be fine. You said 1/4 inch initially, and I was like.
Oh, I meant 3/4.
Oh, yeah, we'll do 3/4. That'll work just fine.
And then I bought this today. Check this out.
Nice. Very nice.
I don't know what that would be good for. Maybe a spray bar coming off. I just thought it was cool looking, so I bought it.
But the higher you get away from that pump, the more pressure it puts on it, so the less gallons per hour you get. So that's always something to take into consideration, especially if you're looking at pumps. You can look. I've got one pump, and it's rated like 1,800 gallons per hour. That's at 0 head height, meaning that's directly at the pump. Once you get to like 6 foot, which I've got one that's pumping 7, that particular pump is like cut in half at that height. So just keep those things in mind. Also with the canisters, not to get too far off, but one canister company may rate theirs empty, meaning there's nothing in the canister, while another may rate theirs full of media. That's going to change how many gallons per hour are going through there as well, because it's got all that media to go through. So it's going to change the pressure, meaning the gallons per hour is going to change. So if I've got, we'll say 220 gallons per hour full of or empty, and then 200 full of media, I'm probably going to go with the 200 full of media, because I'll probably lose more than 20 in theory, depending upon the motor, just by the time I add media to it.
So why do I need an airline?
So you don't for the setup we're doing.
Okay.
But that is designed to hook it. That one you showed me that has that little piece off of it. No, the pump nozzle that has that secondary teeny part. You'll notice that secondary little nozzle, that's the size of airline tubing. That's for a different setup. Do you have one that size that doesn't have that airline nozzle?
I have this.
You have that. Well, it should have all of the pieces that we can make it work. Because we don't really want to restrict it. So it looks like the one in your right hand maybe, but I'll know once I get my hands on it and I can actually see the sizes. I'm sure you've got one that'll work. You had like 4 or 5 pieces there. But yeah, so keeping that in mind. Sorry, I saw something about Jacksonville and it drug my attention away. Shiny object.
Jacksonville's cool.
Yeah. No, it looks like you've got what you need, and we should be able to get that going.
That's cool. And then I ordered the drill bits.
Okay.
The diamond cutter, or the diamond head glass cut one. And we'll be good there.
These things?
Yes. I got those. And I also want to drill a rock like Rob did at his fish store.
Okay.
But that I digress on that. So, okay, so I've got the PVC. I've got this. I've got the sump.
Mm-hmm.
I've got bio balls, but I was wondering, could I use lava rock in there instead of bio balls?
You can. So I would definitely put your lava rock after some sort of filter pad or filter sock or primary filtration that's going to take out larger particulate. What you will find is that if you have that water coming into the sump and hitting your lava rock pre-filtration, you're going to get a lot of detritus buildup, and you're essentially creating a nitrate factory like a canister filter. So definitely have some sort of filtration before that, and have that biological, just in the sense as you would with most filtration, have that biological somewhere that it's not going to get clogged up with things that mechanical filtration should be taking out.
Okay. And so it's going to be on a rack, 3-tier rack.
Okay.
I'm going to put a Menards light on the bottom rack.
Okay.
So that way I can also grow pothos out of the sump. So that was, and I bought a cobalt rack today. So I think it'll work good.
Very nice.
I had to find something short. The Huskies don't make anything that short, but Cobalt makes something that looks very much like the Husky.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to use.
Now you have an actual sump, right?
Yeah. Do you need me to run and get it?
You don't have to. I'm trying to remember what it looked like. I remember you showed it now.
It looks like a 20-gallon tall.
Right. I was just thinking compartment-wise.
I'll go get it.
Okay. Well, that works.
Just
with it being hi to the people. I don't know what to say. I'm new here. My name's James, Fisherman Fever. I suffer from multi-tank syndrome, Fisherman Fever. I am an aquaholic. I enjoy things that go in glass boxes. So the big thing, and several people mentioned it, of course, is I've had issues with lava rock where maybe I pulled the filter pad out, the filter media, and it ran for a little bit without that in there. I can't reach it, of course. I still haven't quite got the ed setup going. I'm working on it. But then you get the detritus buildup. You get the things that your mechanical filtration should be pulling out, which is why I want to look at this, because we definitely want some sort of mechanical filtration happening before we get to that lava rock. Bio balls. I've got about 20 gallons of bio balls. I've been collecting them all up as I go through for a big project. So we pull that off. Perfect. It does have where the pad can go in. So what you'll want to do is decide what kind of pad you want. And
I'll go with the cheap stuff you get at Walmart for
there you go. Absolutely. That'll work fine. That's what I was trying to reach. I've got some of that there. It's the polyfill, but it's in the pad form instead of the loose form. I buy both when I go because they both have different uses and they're both wonderful. One thing.
There's a sponge. Looks like I could probably put another. There. I have an egg crate. Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah, I got the mic behind the camera.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I have an egg crate platform here that goes in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see this right here.
Yep.
There's a lip, and there's one on each side, and an egg crate.
Yep.
Goes frosted.
Is that where you're going to put your bio balls?
I thought I'd put the bio balls on top, and then the lava rock on bottom.
Gotcha.
Would it be better to put bio balls on the other side?
No, no, you'll be good. So you've got that pad up top, which one thing you're going to have to keep in mind is that polyfill. It's a very fine, it'll pull out fine particulate. So just keep in mind it's going to clog quicker than your standard blue pad that you put in there or blue and white pad.
I've been using polyfill my whole life.
Yeah, but you should be good. I was looking to see, I don't think there's a secondary spot. Normally I put the blue and white pad and then I put my finer filtration after, but you should be good there. So I'd put your pad up in the top section, your bio balls there in the center, and then you could have your lava rock down in the bottom next to that sponge like you wanted. So you're not getting detritus into the things that did things. The lava rock. Yeah.
The lava rock?
Yeah, the balls too.
Okay.
Aquatic aesthetics is that one overflows to the other side. Yeah, so I'll have to look at exactly where the flow comes out, but depending, it's super easy to get it set up on the fly.
Bio balls.
There you go.
So
and then you have the space on the other side is where you'll put your heater and stuff in your pump.
well, I'm not going to have a heater.
Well, there you go.
Fish room's heated. So.
Oh yeah, I know, but other people. That's one of the things I love about Sumps is I can shove heaters down there.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful.
So one key thing, and I couldn't quite tell the compartments on that. If we use this thing for example, so say you've got your compartment here, and your pump is in here. You don't want to have the heater in the same compartment as your pump, if at all possible, because if this thing sucks up all the water, something happens, your water level drops down, and it runs it dry in that compartment, you want your heater to be somewhere it's going to stay submerged. So just keep that in mind when setting up a sump. If you are using a heater, make sure that your heater is not somewhere that it could be exposed to water if your pump decides to run the pump compartment dry.
Oh, Anthony, fishy friend, says he uses a light diffuser. Here in the South, we call that an egg crate.
Yes.
I don't know why. Maybe they used to put eggs on it so they wouldn't roll away.
No clue. But I did find in the hobby, once I got like into the hobby, I was like, oh, because people say egg crate, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, light diffuser. And so now I just roll with the terminology. But yeah, if you're looking for it at the hardware store, ask for lighting diffuser. It's the stuff that goes into the paneled office ceilings that goes over the lights. So that's what you're looking for.
I don't have a piece here. I have that in the storage room. But normally I'd pull it up. Sorry, guys. Okay, so next question is, let's say this is the sump. It's on the bottom. Here's a fish tank like right here.
Okay.
And here's a fish tank right here.
Okay.
I would have put the one with food underneath. Okay. Do like this. Now, I actually plumbing, taking the water all the way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one just goes from this tank to this tank to fill this tank.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this tank has the drain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm not doing like a T where the water, half of it goes to this and half goes to this.
Right. Well, you're also, without a ball valve, you're not going to get half anyways, because remembering pressurization and head height, the water is going to want to go to the least amount of resistance, so it's going to want to go to the lower tank more anyways. So just something to keep in mind for people plumbing, because I've done it both ways. I've done it the way that you're talking about that one, and then on my Zebra Pleco rack, I have it plumbed to both, but then the top one still drains into the bottom. So I'm getting all the flow through, or not the bottom, but the middle tank. And I'll have to update you all because that's actually where the 240s with that used to be in here behind me. I moved them onto that Pleco rack and redid that system and pulled the sump. But yeah, so what I like to do in the situation that you're in, where you're plumbing to the top tank and letting it come through the bottom, is I like to have, I'm using my phones here as aquariums because they're squares, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have, let's try this without dropping my phones, your top tank and then your bottom tank. If your plumbing is coming in here from the sump, so your inlet is here, I like to have my outlet on the opposite side so we're getting full flow through. Kind of like, with the canister, you separate your in and your out. So then, okay, my out's over here. It's going to come down to this tank. So this is now the in on this tank and my out coming out the other side. Now you can use plumbing to crisscross that like I did on the 40s behind me. So my out was here from the top. I brought it down and plumbed it over to drain in here. So this is now my in here. And then I had it come out on this side. So I'm getting full flow through. The water's coming up. It's going all the way through. It's going down. It's going all the way through. And then it's draining out versus water comes in here. Here's my drain next to it. Comes in here. Here's my drain next to it. I've got all this stagnant area in these two tanks.
Okay. Well, I got a question.
Yes.
Why do I have two holes in this?
So depending upon your setup, a lot of people use dual overflows versus just having one outlet. A lot of people, and I'm sure Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics will chime in because that came from his store. But a lot of people will have dual outlets, especially with sumps being more popular in saltwater. A lot of people will have a dual outlet or two holes drilled in their tanks. That way they can run both of those down to the sump. If one starts to get clogged, you've got a backup. There are various valid reasons to have a dual drill or a dual outlet. I just have not messed with it. I've always done one drain. And that's part of why I like to use 1 inch is because typically, okay, so see, that one was for two tanks. So there you go. It's another way you can do it. So they had two separate tanks running in there and then the pump's going back out. But now you can use it with just the one. And that leaves you room for expansion in the future as well.
Now, I heard that using a hose instead of PVC is actually quieter on the drain down.
It can be.
And
Definitely.
So that's where I was hoping I wouldn't even need to plumb. Do I have to plumb the thing or can I just stick it in the hole?
You could just stick it in. You could just run the vinyl tubing through that hard plumb right there. Gotcha. I would do something to ensure that it can't come out, though. Some sort of clamp or a tie down or something that is going to make sure that the water pressure, because you may get a variance. You may have some flushing. It's called flushing happen, especially as things are getting equalized. So you may get some water build up and then it gets suction and it drains down and it flushes and gets extra force going through there. If that happens, you don't want that hose to just pop out. Think of it kind of like if you were filling a tank and you just flop the hose over the side. Even if it's sitting in there, you would still want some way to secure that hose. That way it can't just force itself out of there. But yeah, you definitely can. You don't have to hard plumb that in there on your setup.
Rob said this was for two tanks. Did he actually have two pumps in it? And it's pumping to two different tanks?
That's a good question. He does say, this is Aquatic Aesthetics, attach hose to the pump, then attach hose to PVC. The hose dampens the pump vibration. Yes, absolutely. That takes away a lot of the vibration if you put that vinyl tubing on there and then run that to your PVC.
Awesome. Okay, so I don't know. Did anybody notice anything that I'm missing?
Fish. No.
Well, I'm going to have Daisy Rice fish in one, and Oh, I'm going to put my Goodiots in the other because I really like the Goodiots, and I want to make a lot more Goodiots. I mean, they're super cute. I just think they've maxed out this tank. I've got about maybe 20 of them in here. So I'd like to put them in a 55.
So Aquatic Aesthetic says, no, I used valves to control flow from one pump. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, ball valves are one of your best friends when it comes to having to plumb things, especially going to or from multiple outlets or inlets.
Awesome. Well, okay, so guys, that was going to be kind of my subject for tonight.
Well, and I mean,
Sumps.
we've made it 56 minutes, so kudos to that one. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to throw those in. I know we're having a lot of great conversation going back and forth in the chat. We do have, make sure I hit the like button, 69 people watching now, awesome. And I don't even know how many thumbs ups because it's stuck on 9 for me. But if you haven't, hit that like button for Chattanooga Ed. If you made your way here and somehow you're not subscribed, it's free to do it. Hit that subscribe button. Keep updated on what my buddy Ed here's got going on. Because I tell you this, once I get done with making my channel prettier, down the road here, we're going to jump over to Ed's channel. And I'm going to help him out with some tech stuff on there. So
awesome. I remember Paul asked in your stream, do I have overflows on my 110s that are outside for tubbing? I plan on drilling like a little hole at the top. I keep the water about 6 to 7 inches down, so it's not a full 110 gallons. It's probably about closer to 95 gallons, maybe 90. Yep. Because I like to keep water hyacinth in there. And with the netting, the water hyacinth needs to be able to grow, above the water. So I don't keep it that high. But 90 gallons is a lot of water outdoors for guppies. So, but I will drill a little hole at the top, but I'm going to pack it with the sponge. So that way frogs don't get in, because frogs are my mortal enemy right now. Tree frogs, the cutest frogs in the world.
Absolutely. So valid point here. I think I did say ball valves. That's the cheap guy in me that already has ball valves around. But Anthony's fishy friend said you should use gate valves instead of ball valves. Far easier to tune, but are also more expensive. I use ball valves because I'm that cheap guy, but absolutely.
Oh, here's a question. Do I need to get a valve? I don't see why I would need that. One that's not going to make sure that I don't get reverse flow from my tank, but that's not going to be a problem.
So what you can do, depending upon how it's plumbed, we're not doing any drilling in the bottom, right?
Right.
Okay. And how do I even want to phrase this? Let me think how I want to put this.
I'm going to be doing it like towards the top, so that way I don't have to worry about it overflowing ever.
If you have something that if you have a tank with a hole in it, because I'm also making sure I don't get the chat riled up here with any type of innuendo. If you have a tank with a hole that is going to have a lot of drainage, say from a power outage or when you unplug your pump, a check valve is nice to have coming in line from your pump. So let's say your inlet. I've seen inlets that are, like I've got one on one of my pumps. If you've got an inlet that's going to create a back suction, pipe going into the tube, it's going to create back suction when you unplug it or power goes out, then definitely, absolutely. You want to make sure that you're not going to have water siphoning out of the tank through that. If you're doing like what you've got, which looks like it's going to kind of be right at the top of the water and not really going down into the water, or maybe going to a spray bar, you're generally fine without it, without that check valve or that anti-siphon valve. But I've got it on there because, one, it came with the big pump. I bought a massive pump used, and it was on there because it was a part of a local fish store setup. But the way I have it set up, it'll suck about 2 inches of water out of a 90-gallon before it breaks siphon, which may not seem like a lot. But 2 inches out of a 90-gallon is a good bit of gallonage. So I've got that on there so that when it gets that, it tries to create that backward suction after the pump goes off. It hits that little flapper. It closes it so you can't get that drainage or that vacuum or that suction going into the sump or into the bottom tank, and you're good to go. So case by case, you may or you may not need one.
That's just what Matt F. just said.
Okay.
Make sure that you have a pump that can't siphon.
Yeah.
But I think that I won't have that much. I'm going to keep it high enough so I don't have a flow problem.
Building it in my head, I think you're fine. I will know a lot better when I'm actually looking at it. Because I'm trying to take the idea that you know in your head, based upon what you know on how to build it, and take all those parts and build it in my mind, and visualize where everything is hooked up and how it's going, based upon what I'm understanding of your setup.
Okay, next question. Where it's going to drain out of the tank.
Mm-hmm.
See how this has a neat little thing so fish don't get sucked down the tube.
Yep.
This goes to a different filter mine. Okay?
Okay. Excuse me.
What do you suggest for like the intake tube? Or, the exit tube?
So I have a couple of different methods that I use depending upon what's going in it, and what size you're using.
Small fish.
Yeah. So on a lot of what I've done, you could do one of two things. One's a pain in the butt, but I think it looks nicer. And that's I've actually taken a piece of the PVC that fits into that bulkhead that you've got in the glass. And then I've taken the stainless steel that I order and I use for different aquarium stuff and actually created basically one of those, but it's really fine mesh so that shrimp can't get sucked out and little baby guppies and things. What I'll typically use is a standard. Give me a second. I'll grab one here.
Okay. And guys, I hope this isn't too boring for you. I just thought, you know what? We'll all learn together. Daniel, this is going to be for freshwater. So I don't know if
Nope.
It's live rock.
Nope. I used it yesterday. I forgot about that. But it looks similar to that. But it goes right into the plumbing, and it's got that on there. So oftentimes, dealing with small fish, guppies and shrimp and that type of stuff, I'll take a pre-filter sponge and I'll put it over that inlet because a lot of times the slots in there, the holes, are big enough that little shrimp and fish can get through. But yeah, like Matt said, really coarse sponge. That's oftentimes what I'll cover mine with. So there you go. Hey, redfish, bluefish, how's it going?
Yeah, he's awesome. Love Jason.
Absolutely.
His place is looking amazing. Gosh. My only criticism is I can't watch him live because now he's in the middle of the day when we're always doing things. He's now on Saturdays at I think 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's Central. Or no, that's Eastern time. But his shop is amazing. Go check him out, guys.
Absolutely.
It's also a lot of fun. He's on Instagram too to see everything he's doing there.
There you go. Thank you, Merdul, for posting that. Said buy everything from Jason's store and then put the link for Redfish Bluefish's shop. Much appreciated.
I got some pretty guppies from him. So maybe I need to get a couple of intake filters.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do smaller fish. I would recommend it just to be safe.
And you mentioned gaskets. That's the thing that goes in between, or what do you say? The
bulkhead.
Thing that goes bulkheads.
Yep.
Do I have to get bulkheads that fit my PVC perfect, or how's that work?
Yes. So they also need to fit the hole you're making in the glass.
Yeah.
So make sure you don't drill anything until you know what size bulkhead you're using.
Gotcha.
Because you don't want to just grab a bit and drill it, and you drill a hole for a bulkhead that fits 1-inch PVC. I mean, there are always adapters, and you can make it work. You could adapt and overcome, but it's best to just drill it for whatever size bulkhead you plan on using, which is going to go with what size plumbing you're using.
Rob said that he's out of pre-filters, sponges. That is totally fine because I won't be putting fish in for a couple of months because I want my plants to start growing way before my fish do.
Absolutely.
So that's totally fine. I'm the patient fish keeper. I never rush anything. Okay, so I need to find bulkheads. do you find those at fish stores or do you find those at your hardware store?
Sometimes you can. Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics, I'd love to hear if you've got bulkheads in stock. I know Aquatic Marine here in Knoxville, Tennessee carries bulkheads. It's really hit or miss. Some stores carry them, some stores don't. If not, you can go to Bulk Reef Supply, order them. What's he saying? Yeah, there we go. Aquatic Aesthetics is most bulkhead fittings require special diamond bit, only available online. So yeah, Ed's got the bits ordered.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he ordered the variety size or the variety set from what he was telling me. They
15.
don't do a lot of tanks, but they work for a couple. That's the same ones I've used. But you're not trying to drill 30 tanks, so you know.
I do own some bulkheads.
Okay.
They were ones that I took off of tanks that I got from Rob, and I saved them.
Okay.
But I don't know what size. They're probably 1-inch bulkheads, I think.
Gotcha. And
Very fancy.
He said, talk to me, I have them. So there you go. So
cool.
I would suggest you kind of take down some of your parts and pieces the next time you go to Aquatic Aesthetics, show Rob what you're working with, and he'll get you set up with the right bulkhead sizes. And then we drill your hole based upon the bulkhead that you're using.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Jimco has every possible bulkhead fitting. They do. The problem, personally for me, and this is a societal thing maybe, I like to be able to just click order, and unless they've changed things, you have to make the phone call and get on the line to order. So that unfortunately makes it easier for me to click Amazon. But like I said, I've got Aquatic Marine up the street. I just get mine there.
Let's see. Bob just said those are the same tanks with bulkheads, Ed, if you need the BH. I don't know what BH stands for. Bulkhead, if you need the bulkhead. Yeah, I sealed mine with silicone and kept the bulkheads because I figured it actually looked prettier with how I did it.
There you go.
Yeah. But, okay, awesome. Guys, is there anything else I need to ask James? I don't know. I think I may have covered a lot of it. I don't think I have enough space to put a crayfish in my sump.
I'd like to. Yeah.
I'd like to, though, because it would look so cool.
It would, but with what you've got, I wouldn't recommend it. Not unless you made basically refugium in there, added some panels and built a thing, and then did one of the like mini ones, and that's a whole lot of work for one little teeny one because there's not a lot of room you're going to have after we after we get everything in there. Delilah said, why is your Axie tank pink? It's actually more of a reddish color here, but as you all know, things come across differently.
Yeah, people
keep saying one of the backgrounds that I won, the background lights that I won at the swap. So I can't see me now because I've got the
That's
chat.
more red.
But we can go all sorts of different colors.
Can you just do random?
There's that. Let's try and change the spectrum a little bit. Let's get rid of the red. There's a blue. Get more green and less blue.
This
and
is actually
in between
that James is using one of these lights suction cup to the back of his tank. And then it has this material is translucent, not transparent. Yeah, translucent. So the color comes through. This is going to go on the 55 that I'm drilling. This is courtesy from Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics also. Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That is the Serene. One second. There's that paperwork. I kept it for the video. I'm like 90% organized in here, but not all the way. I even kept one of the Aqueon Here manuals I found for when I make the video to go over the stuff we talked about in the live stream. Oh, look, there's some Kenny E. Daniken Aquatics stickers. All sorts of people stickers. Oh, Rob's probably going to tell you in the chat before I find the thing.
There's the redfish, bluefish magnet. And look, they're little red and blue fish in his bag. I love that.
I don't know. I kept the packaging, but it's the serene background light.
I thought I had another blue fish magnet. Oh well. But yeah, guys. I don't know. I think we went through everything. We went through we wanted to talk about the shows, wanted to talk about the dates, and we'll do that. We'll try to keep that up once a month, and then we'll do a real fast one every week, just so if there's something happening, we'll let people know right away so they can plan for it.
Absolutely.
And then I wanted to go for the Sump stuff. So yeah, we're at an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you guys. I hope I didn't bore y'all with the Sump talk. It's a little different, but I appreciated it. And thank you, mods. You guys are all amazing. Meriddle, Danikin, Bob. I think you guys are all in here, and I really appreciate it a lot. Zen Ginger may have went to sleep, or she's probably doing her 1 hour of maintenance in her fish tank.
we guilted her into it, I think, being so judgy. Bless her heart.
If I'm in top chat on top of it. Dog, that's the worst. I find out I'm in top chat when I'm just about to close down. Well, thank you, Mod, so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's so much fun. You guys, I do this because I get to hang out with you all. It's fun.
Absolutely. Now, Merdul did post the link for that background light setup that you can go get. So thank you for that, Merdul.
Oh, cool.
And if we have somebody up next, I'm sure there will be a link in the chat here.
Now, I actually made one of those lights. I didn't make a video of it because I saw it at the at the Aquatic Experience like 5 or 4 years ago. I don't know. And I sprayed the back of my 120 with that stuff that you would spray like a shower door that you don't want to see everybody. You don't want people to see you naked, so you can spray it like that frost.
Right.
I frosted it, and then I bought the LED lights that you put around a TV, the string. And it works, but it never came together very well. I probably should have worked on it a little better. I'm really looking forward to this one because it's like the real deal. But it is possible to make your own too.
Absolutely. And we have Michelle Kinsey at the last minute throwing that $1 super sticker out there with the big old smiley face.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate it. Now, all the super chats. Thank you so much, guys. I'd like to go through them all, and you know what? I can't see any of them. I remember Fish Granny, though. Wanted to make sure if you want to play D&D, let us know so we can do that. I'll be on tomorrow with Lefty at 4 o'clock. On Saturday with Fish Tank Barn and James on the Fish Room Fever channel. We'll be talking saltwater. Then I'll be on Pam's show, Punchy Paints, and I'll be painting with her Friday or Saturday night. And then I'm with Bob Kaler on Sunday and the crew. That's a lot of fun. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Really do a lot. And then I'm with Rico on Monday and Diego on Tuesday. I'm on a lot. Sorry, guys. I hope I don't bore you. But we really appreciate it, and we'll see you the next time.